I live in Virginia with my husband and my 2 little boys and a little girl. That is kind of the setup for my vocation of family life, marriage and motherhood. I also have studied counseling and I have my master's in theology, and I've done a lot of work with young women and troubled youth in the past. And that's kind of been something that the Lord has called me to in my work vocation over the past 10 years. So working with young women and at-risk youth has taught me a lot about how every person has dignity no matter how off the track they get. I worked in Wyoming on a ranch with at-risk girls, and this was kind of their last step. A lot of them had been through so many different programs, and they'd been in juvie and they'd been in so many different places, and it was kind of a give-up place where we give up on them. There's nothing else for them except to commit a felony and spend a good chunk of their life in jail. There was a lot of bitterness, there was a lot of anger, and I think a lot of the young women felt like everyone in their lives had given up on them. And with this program, we really tried to teach them that especially God never gives up on you, and you can always find a place in this world, even if it's not necessarily in your own family, biological family. Maybe you've made the wrong friends, but there is a big world out there, and there's a lot of need and a lot of places that God will call you if you are open. I think I realized especially that I'm not as forgiving as God. I mean, God just continues our whole time on this earth. We can go back to Him as many times as we want to, and He'll just continue to forgive us and to continue to take us back as the prodigal son and rejoice in that. It's not like after 10 times or 50 times He's going to say, all right, that's it, no rejoicing, this time I'm done. With human beings, it's very different. After a few times, you kind of close yourself off, build up a wall, and you kind of say, you know, I don't want to be fooled by you again. And so it really stretched me in working with at-risk youth, because in a way, you can't trust some of the people that you're working with, but in the other sense, you need to continue to love them fully and to let them know that they are trustworthy and they are lovable and they are able to gain all of those virtues that you see in their future. A couple years ago, I decided to start my own blog just because media is so important in reaching people, and I do love that aspect of our culture right now, the fact that anyone can kind of get their work out there. It's not necessarily that you have to go through a publisher anymore or find somebody to put out your work on video or anything like that. Anybody can release their audio or their video, upload it online. Anybody can write and publish their own work through the web. And I think that that is kind of a great turn for our culture, because everything is not filtered through society or these different companies. People can just kind of sit at their computer and get this stuff out there, and people can find them. I knew that when I got my master's in theology and studied that I was called towards a vocation of being a wife and a mother, but I really wanted to still share a lot of what I had learned and what I continue to learn. And so I love and have a passion for writing, and so I started a blog on faith, art, and motherhood, because those are things that I am passionate about. My Catholic faith, I've studied a lot of art history and how that works through faith and what we can learn through art. And I also love painting and doing my own artwork as well. And then, of course, my vocation of motherhood. So I felt like those were three things that the Lord was laying on my heart that I could really share with others. I started a blog and it's been really fun. It's just kind of a side project that I like to do, and hopefully it can touch other women. I've also started writing monthly for CatholicMom.com and some other little places that I can kind of share the wisdom that God continues to give me in the simple everyday life of motherhood.